Oh, thank you. Mary was just starting to record this, so we've missed the beginning. I did pause it. I framed up at the beginning, this was a new, different platform. My apologies. And what have I said a number of times? I'm not the most techie of people. I'm about the principle and what we can do to get business. So anybody who's after the recording is going to miss the first few minutes. Hey ho, maybe we have to do another one. She generated some ideal sales meetings within a couple of weeks, or he did. Then signed up his first piece of work, then signed a new coaching client, which gave him an ROI of 18 grand a year. It gets results quickly. And I know that's what I'm wired for. I love that. That's why I got into LinkedIn, because it's almost instant. I've just started working with a client in South Africa, and their challenge with the price of the cost of the rand, the cost of living compared to paying me in sterling, was a big step for them. They've just signed up 2 clients within the first month. That's giving them an ROI on working with me. So whatever else comes in now is just consistent and infinite. And that's what I like about it. And I want to give you this other principle. This is my formula for success. I want you to write this down. I think we've got Alan on the call. He and I spoke yesterday. He's very into systems and analysis, and he's a great systems coach and a great leadership coach. This is a bit simple. I have another principle called keep it simple. Write this down. It stands for massive action times the right stuff. Massive action times the right stuff times consistency equals results. It's a formula. It's a multiplication. Think about it. You could send out 40 invites a day to new connections, which is about the limit LinkedIn will give you. If you've heard that there's limited to 100, it's not true. It's algorithmic based. I sweat it with my clients. I've got some clients where we're getting almost 200 invites out there a week. That's massive action. But let's say your connection message and your welcome message, and maybe your follow-up messages are poor, are salesy and pushy and not building engagement and rapport. Massive action times 0 equals 0. So let's say you learn how to write good messages. I just put a post out the other week that said, hey, here's some results a client's written to me and said he's got a number of new connections, number of new business, amount of new business. And we put these magic messages together to send out in welcome messages and follow-up messages. Who'd like a copy of these magic messages? Let's say you've got the right stuff, you're writing good content, but you send out 40 invites today and then nothing. Massive action times the right stuff times 0 equals 0. So if you're not getting the results you want in your LinkedIn marketing, your posts, your marketing generally, your business generally, have a look at which of these areas do you need to improve on. We can always take more action. I can always send out another 10,000 emails, but often it's about the right stuff. And today is about giving you some of the right stuff. And I think one of the biggest challenges for human beings is most of us, a lot of us, are not naturally consistent. But I've worked with some national and international athletes. You ask them about consistency in their diet and their training. And of course, we can automate, we can leverage the consistency in our business, and especially with LinkedIn now. And I say it is about skills versus attitude. You can Google the skills on what you need to do on how to connect and how to engage and how to write content. But if your attitude is, I've got a client who's a people person, and she had a couple of messages back from the messages we were sending out through her LinkedIn profile. That's sort of complaining. And she said, I'm not sure I like this. So we had a conversation around how many messages we sent out. We've sent out 1,000 in the last few weeks. How many people have we connected with? How many people have said thanks? How many new clients have you got? Great. How many complaints in brackets have you had? Couple. So let's put it into perspective. I've got a great friend of mine who said, if your content is not upsetting or people or causing a sort of reaction, then you're probably doing it wrong. You cannot please all the people all the time. So it's about your attitude. It's about the attitude of, I need to be consistent. What else can I do? How else can I do it? So today is about some of the skills, but I also want you to think about whatever comes up that might be holding you back, about not wanting to do something, or I don't like this. What is it that's getting in the way? Because this can and is simple. I alluded earlier about we've got a magic way of getting attendees to events. That's testimony to the amount of people who have registered for today. And there's a gold mine of way of doing it correctly on LinkedIn. And this is just a screenshot. You can see this was an old webinar when we first discovered this last year, where we got 1,600 people registered just through LinkedIn. So if you're running webinars or events or thinking of, and I just had a guy contact me, he said, I saw you speak 8 years ago. I was a mortgage broker at an event you were at. I've now built a national network of 100 advisors. I want to grow this and I want to help my advisors get business. I want to look at webinars as well as you connecting for prospects for me. Can we talk? So if you are into webinars or thinking of it, then just give me a shout. Today isn't about how to market and sell webinars, but it's another thing on LinkedIn that is just gold. Because I do think, and I've alluded to, that people's biggest mistake in business is not learning how to market and sell themselves. Marketing versus sales. Marketing is about generating the conversation, the inbound. And actually, if you're good enough at that, it will almost sell itself. Sales is converting that conversation into a sale, into profit. And I get a lot of people hung up over this. This is why I've headlined this, called this webinar what it is, how to get more business without being pushy and salesy. Because people go, I don't want to be pushy. I said, I never mentioned that word. Here's my definition of sales. Write this one down. Professionally helping people to buy. I would be surprised if there's anyone on this session, on this webinar, who doesn't believe they have a product or service that helps their clients. If they buy it, it will help them save money, save stress, get a better relationship, whatever it might be. If you haven't, you need to change business. Think about sales is professionally helping to buy. In order to help people to buy, you've got to present the information. And that's what we're doing today. And so I want you to think that if one thing you should be doing more of is learning how to market better. If your content was brilliant and you were generating leads every week and sales every week, you wouldn't be on this call, really. And I had someone said, look, I've got X amount of leads coming in every week. The growth is going where we want. Yes, we could invest in more people and scale it up even more, but I can't come to your session. So you're all looking to get better at marketing and sales. And we can touch on it a little bit, but this is what you need to be focusing on. It's the biggest challenge for people is what's in their head and their perception of marketing and sales. And we'll come on to some more things. So jumping into LinkedIn, just briefly, there's two sides to LinkedIn for me in my mind. First one is your profile, and it has to do three things. It's got to get found, it's got to give value, and it's got to prove your credibility. This is the marketing side. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. I had someone the other day said, I've had some help with a LinkedIn person when we looked at their profile. It's about talking about how you help your prospects or the people you want to engage with. And then, so this is the right stuff in that formula. Your profile needs to say what you do, not me, but how you help people, who you want to work with and how you help them. Because the second part of LinkedIn is your strategy. What do you then do to go and find, connect, and engage in the right way with your ideal contact? If this is fairly new to you and you haven't been around, I've just pulled up a screenshot here. You can see at the top, I've just keyed in the word purchasing manager, came up with 3.5 million results. That's globally, that's connections. You can filter by second tier. Alvin Mingle, it says second. That means we share connections. And we share at least one. You can see below it's Thomas Power, who's a phenomenal networker. I could get to purchasing managers in seconds. Your role is to find, connect, and engage in the right way. My other mantra is to get the conversation offline, off LinkedIn, as quick as possible. I got a property investor who just wanted to point people to his website to download his investor pack. That's fine. For a lot of us, me included, I want to get the conversation onto a Zoom call or a phone call. I could ring Thomas up. I know him well. He's a client of mine. And say, how well do you know Alvin? I know him really well. Here's his mobile number, cell number, bingo. Find, connect, and engage. Doesn't have to be just through LinkedIn. If you've not played with the search function on this, then I urge you to. Who are you looking to get to? And there's plenty of ways to do that. Sales Navigator will cover. It's great for additional search function. When I automate, there might be a bone of contention. If any of you have got the I know mentality around the word automation, we probably need to speak. I can search through Sales Navigator. You can search by job title, history, search terms, geography, employee size. It's good. And then I can automatically go and connect with those people. When they accept, send them a welcome message, send them a couple of follow-up messages and engage with them. So what are you doing with your strategy to find, connect, and engage in the right way and get your conversation offline as quickly as possible? When we come to content now, and content's a big wide world, that word, it could be my email messages, it could be my direct messages on LinkedIn. We're going to look particularly at posts. We've got direct engagement, but then we've also got posts. Posts feed your direct engagement. The more people that are seeing your posts will look at your profile. Here's something you need to be doing is connecting with everyone who views your profile. They may or may not be relevant to me, but the fact that then I'm connected to them means I can find their connections in my search for second tier connections. So I'm always building connections. Remember, your network equals your net worth. I said your database is your most valuable asset. So the more people that see my posts, the more people might view my profile or ask to connect with me. I definitely want to be connecting with people who have viewed my profile. And apparently, for those of you that are very detailed, these are I put these numbers up because I get them off Google and I want to give you it's the context. There's 9 billion post impressions a week on LinkedIn. It has a high level of readership and there is a captive audience right now. I put literally at the beginning of COVID, but it's still relevant and true. And yet less than 1 in 100 people are posting and most don't have a clue. There was a massive surge of usage on LinkedIn at the beginning of COVID. We know that everyone went online, so they were forced to, but it's still there. More and more people are posting. The conversations I have with people who say, oh, I'm thinking of coming off, I'm just bombarded with stuff. No, don't come off LinkedIn. Just learn how to manage it correctly. You know, someone said, oh, I'm bombarded with sales messages. Well, ignore them. You don't have to answer. We had a guy answer one of my clients saying, this is a salesy message, I don't like it. And it's like, why are you even answering? How are you managing your time? Just ignore the messages you don't want to, but stay on LinkedIn and build your connections for when you want it. I'm talking about sales and marketing, but we found our Spanish lawyer, English speaking, our Spanish mortgage broker 4 years ago when we bought this house through LinkedIn. I just went to my connections and said, give me a referral. Who do you know? And the reality is, although there's a lot of activity, and I said there's a surge of posting and content, it really is less than 1%. Don't ask me how my tech team found this, but we scraped some premium users, so that's Sales Nav or Premium, and we discovered that 20% of them are posting twice a week, but getting less than 10 engagements per post. And what I mean by engagements is likes or comments. And I can see those on your posts, which will be a reflection of the number of views you're getting that you can see at your end. By the way, LinkedIn, I think, are now calling impressions. When LinkedIn make a change, they often roll it out slowly. If you see it listed as views, great. More and more people are seeing that just defined as impressions. I don't care, it's the principle. I want to see whatever that number is increase. Think about it. Only 20% of premium users, they're paying for premium or sales now. They're posting twice a week and getting less than 10 engagements. It's just so poor. It's about engaging in the right way, remember? The words salesy and pushy, and they're irrelevant if you're communicating in the right way. So we've got such a content opportunity now. And in the old days, when I was coaching business owners talking about marketing, I would have said you need to touch your audience 7 to 14 times before they might engage with you or buy from you. You know, might have to email them, they might have to see a website, might have to meet them networking, send direct mail. With social media now, so many platforms, so much stuff, it's more like 70, add a 0 or even more. You know, remember I said about the attention span, most people are not paying attention, that we're in a swipe mentality. They might not even see your post, they might see it and swipe on. There's so many marketing strategies now. Your plan has to be, what's the 20% that gives me 80% of the results? What am I going to focus on? And for a lot of business to business, business to professionals, I would advocate LinkedIn ought to be your main focus. And then you can add to that, because within LinkedIn, there's so many opportunities to touch your prospects. We're talking about posts, we're talking about direct messages, there's so many other ways. I'm going to show you a great testimonial from an absolute expert in writing and teaching people content that sells, content that converts, content that gets a result. And he gets most of his leads each week just from his posts, and most of his business from LinkedIn. There's obviously a few other things as well. Every time you post, it shows up in your feed, it's building your personal brand, it's building awareness out there. I had somebody call me the other day. It was an old time client, but we hadn't spoken for 8 years. I saw one of your posts. I went, well, you didn't. I haven't posted lately. I've got so much else going on. He said, oh, well, you mentioned the late, great Jim Rohn. I said, well, that was an interview I had. He said, yes, it was. You were being interviewed by a lady from Malta who runs a business club. It wasn't my post. I just shared it. but it builds your brand, builds awareness. And the thing to remember is there's what I call LinkedIn lurkers everywhere. People are just surfing, searching, consuming content. I had a guy book a call with me and I said, how come you're not in my database? We're not connected on LinkedIn. He said, no, I've been reading your posts for the last few months and now I need some help. That was last year, because I said I'm not posting much this year because my team posting elsewhere and doing other stuff. We got lots of stuff going on. He said, yeah, I've been reading your post for 3 months now, I need some help. I said, but you've never engaged on anything. You've never liked a post or commented. He said, no, I don't do that. I haven't got time for that. I'm just looking for the information I need. And when I'm ready, I'll reach out. So that's back to the consistency part of the formula, remember? So you never know who's seeing your content, which is another reason why I say keep putting stuff out there. I get people saying, I don't want to be pushy or salesy. The other one is I don't want to bombard people. I don't think you can bombard them because they may or may not see it all. Yeah, if you sent somebody a direct message 3 times a day in your content and your posting, you can't. So what can we share? I'm getting asked more and more now. Before COVID, people want to know, how do I write my profile? How do I find people? Now they're going, how do I write content and posts that work? And what we're covering is relevant to any platform or email, so not just social media platforms, but especially powerful with LinkedIn. You can share a post. Remember, I shared that business partner's post, that person's post who interviewed me. And I saw this the other day, and the other LinkedIn person was talking about the same thing. You had up to 1,300 characters in your feed post, in your text that you could write in a post. LinkedIn have now made it 3,000, and my fear is people are now going to write 2.5 times as much lengthy crap as they were writing before. And actually, another mantra is less is more. Keep it simple. I'm going to show you Peter Wendt. My members have access to the 7 most successful posts at work. I'm going to touch on a few of them. And it is all about keeping it short and succinct and easily readable. So I would still urge you to keep it to about 1,300 characters and make it punchy and engaging with the audience. But also, people are used to a short post. If you then start writing something that's 2.5 times as long, people are going to be surprised maybe, and maybe zone out and turn out. You can always point them to somewhere longer. Always use an image in your post. It gets more views. And if you're going to use video, use native video. I've got some experts that hardly ever, if ever, use video. It's all text posts and they work. But people do like video. But when I say native video, that's video you can upload straight into your post, into LinkedIn. So not a link to a YouTube video, for example. LinkedIn's algorithm does not like that. LinkedIn wants to keep the readers on their platform, obviously, like all the other platforms. So it actually will suppress your post if you put a link in there. I'm going to introduce you to Post Party Club and our tech and what we've done that makes it unique. And one of the things is there, it won't let you do that. It'll flag it and stop you posting if you're trying to put a link in. And there's ways around doing that to still get views and get people to see your video. Obviously, documents and presentations, again, they need to be succinct. I'm just working with a new client who sent me a document to send out in our direct messages on LinkedIn. It's about 6 pages long. I said, it's too long. You've got to bring that down to 1 or 2 pages for people to read, because then you're asking them for a response. So think about documents or presentations. You can give them a snapshot and point them to somewhere else if they want the full article. And articles, presentations, all sort of similar context. Commenting is the easiest way to engage. I talk about engagement, and it's included in the LinkedIn algorithm, and we're going to come on to more about that. I've just mentioned not putting external links in your posts, but LinkedIn wants unique content, like Google, like everything else. We've probably known that for a long time, but they also want unique engagement. So by you engaging on other people's posts, we'll come on to your own posts in a moment, then you're going to get noticed more. Because it's the easy, it can be the easiest way to engage meaningfully in the right way. I will come on to the right way, but remember, it's visible on your profile. So I'll cover it now. You do not want to be entering arguments and trying to prove who knows most about the industry. You certainly don't want to be talking religion, politics, sex. You want to be engaging in meaningful conversation that grabs the attention of your ideal audience. and engages them. It's all about engagement. And it's the best way to be considered a thought leader. Now, I get people message me and say, I've seen your profile. You clearly know what you're doing. I had someone, well, I mentioned the lady in Malta. I had another person run a business club in, can't remember where it was now, was it Saudi Arabia or Thailand? And I said, how come you're asking me to speak? She said, well, we've seen your profile. You're clearly good at what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know about your topic, your content, your product. So it's the best way to be considered a thought leader. And it can be quick and easy as well, can't it, to engage on someone else's posts. So I mentioned the 5 most successful or 7 most successful styles of posts. I think I've condensed it down to 5 here to give you some thoughts. Value is vital. I said about your profile, you need to find that your profile needs to get found, give value and prove your credibility. People want to know what's in it for them. What can you do for me? How can you solve my pain? How can you help me achieve what I want to achieve? So how you write your content, you can write it, you want to write it in sort of story format, the hero's journey. You know, this guy set up a business this way, he did this, he did this, he did this. Use it as, I've said metaphors underneath, use it as a metaphor. People relate to stories. Stories sell. You know, how many of you remember as a kid maybe sat on your grandmother's, grandfather's lap or whoever, and they were telling you stories? We get stories. You could write it around a central character, stories, metaphors. You could write it in conversational style. John said to Jim, you know, I'm having a tough time with my LinkedIn. Jim said, hey, I've just got these results from working with Andy. John said, well, how does that work? Etc. Case studies are brilliant. I love them. Those are testimonials, aren't they? You can write them as a case study. I also like the challenge. I said earlier, if you're not creating, I'm not sure what's the word that they're trying to use, but if you're not upsetting somebody, if you're not getting some reaction, then your content probably isn't good enough. So if my post said something like, if your headline just says John Smith, Managing Director of ABC Limited, then your LinkedIn strategy probably sucks. That's going to challenge some people because it's telling them what they're doing wrong. And so many times, back to the I know and the attitude, so many times when people sort of flip something back, it's a reflection of where they're at. When my clients get somebody messaging back saying, oh, stop, we look at it, they're either invariably a competitor, so guess what, we've challenged the way they're marketing, or it's often can be a marketing agency or another LinkedIn trainer, or we just challenge the way that they're utilizing LinkedIn. So I like the challenge, but what I would say is vary them around, learn how to write them effectively. And maybe out of the 5, and there's how many we got there? 5, there's another 1 or 2. We've got a brand new one with someone called the hand raising post, which is just magic for getting inbound and people wanting your content and allowing you to engage with them. And probably use the ones that resonate with your style as well. You know, for some people, challenging the audience blatantly out there might be a bit uncomfortable. Then use some of the other styles. But this is counterintuitive because I teach this and people still don't apply it because it's not natural. What's natural is for us to write about us. We ran a seminar called the Proud to Announce Tour. How many posts you see? Proud to announce my new website, proud to announce our new office. I've just had a lady I'm going to start working with, big international franchise recruitment. Here, have a look at a post my marketing agency's done for me. It's just pleased to announce we're in Australia, proud that we've just done this in the UK. It doesn't tell me as a potential franchisor what's in it for me, why I should be looking at this investment opportunity. It's bonkers, and that's a marketing agency. Well, I got one eye on the clock because I'm very conscious of this is a bit of a soapbox, or it's a Spanish chair. So we've just looked at the styles of posts. I think there's 3 things within posting. There is the content you're writing. So how to write content that's of value that we've just touched on. There's then what I call the mechanics of posting. People use hashtags. What a hashtag is, shown down there, is people can follow keywords and hashtags. So if you hashtag LinkedIn posting, people that are following it are likely to see, more likely to see your post. Now, a couple of things. I just saw someone that put off 9 hashtags at the bottom of their post. And I said, limit it to 3. Have a library of maybe a dozen and vary them. But the algorithm will actually, there's a sweet spot. And I think it's 3. You can Google it, those of you that need the detail. Whereas if it's less than that, the algorithm doesn't give your post as much prominence. If it's too many than that, it will quash it. And 3 is about ideal. And you can get smart, use it in the conversation in what you're writing, and or use it at the bottom of your post. I've mentioned external URL links. Do not put them in the body of your post. The algorithm will suppress that post. Why on earth would you do that? And then tagging people, at Andy Gwynn. We had a client, he'd got a connection, a member of our Post Party Club, he got a connection globally, who was a big influencer, tens of thousands of connections. He tagged him, but he tagged him intelligently. I've just been talking about when I started work in 2003 with Action Coach. I was trained by a guy who's taught me so much at Brad Sugars. I really owe him to where I'm at now in my life. And this was the main thing that stuck in my mind back then. So you make it conversational. If that guy sees it and you've complimented them, or girl, and they decide to share it, your post can go viral. So it's about the right stuff and getting smart. And then another LinkedIn trainer was on his webinar, and he reckoned he got something like, I can't remember, 27% more views when he used an emoji. And I thought, this is bonkers. Human psychology is bonkers. Human beings are mad. But you know what? I don't care. If more people are likely to view my post because I put an emoji in, go test it, go put an emoji in. This is all about how to make it work in the right way. This is back to getting out of our own way, this I know mentality. Well, I don't like emojis. They look crass. They don't look professional. If they work, why wouldn't you? So that's the mechanics of actually posts and your posting. And then the third thing we have is what I call the feed formula, the algorithm, which I've mentioned. Every platform has an algorithm. They're run by computers, aren't they? I've said to you that LinkedIn, probably like most of them or all of them, not only wants unique content, but wants unique engagement. They want your content to be keeping people on the platform, because the more people that are viewing your posts and the more they can sell ads to people. Makes sense. And so our understanding, well before COVID, 2.5 years ago, I've got a great tech team. I've said to you, big part of my business is delivering on connection invites, messages to your prospects through your profile. I have some bespoke automation that's just magic. It allows us to leverage that consistently. You and I are writing all of the content. It's just doing what you would love to do, but you can't do manually. You can't send out 40 invites every day. Look at who's accepted tomorrow for a welcome message, same the day after, but then look back who's had the welcome message, who needs a follow-up message. So we can automate that. My same tech team and business partners got to understand this. And what we've discovered is LinkedIn, if your post gets 15 likes and comments, it's not about shares, that you comment back on within a 2-hour window, and that is changing, and we're beta testing all sorts of things, but this has been sound, that 2-hour window is the most critical. And interestingly, before COVID, I took on a guy to help me with my YouTube marketing, and he said the same. If you can drive people to look at your video within 2 hours of posting your video, the algorithm gives it a lot more exposure. You will get maximum exposure. I've got to change that. It's not 5 times results. It's just growing and growing and growing. Because what happens apparently is LinkedIn, when you post, will send your post out to about 10% of your connections to test it. And then if it sees that you're getting 15 likes and comments that you comment back on, within 2 hours, the algorithm's going, this must be good content, because you're getting a lot of engagement from your network that you're engaging back on. So we'll now boost this to the rest of your connections and the connections that are those that have also participated. And so what that led us to do was create what we've called the Post Party Club. Now, we tested this a long time ago, and we took it into corporate. We had a corporate client who said, we've got a team, 15 managers, salespeople, we can do this. And sure enough, it worked. But what we noticed over a short period of time was the results started to become less, which tells us that the algorithm was recognizing it was just the same 15 people participating, and they want to see unique engagement. So we built the tech portal, and we've got John also on the call, who's a colleague, business partner, if you like, of mine in the US. There's actually 4 of us where these portals come together. And so we've got 4 membership clubs where we can guarantee unique engagement. So I want to run through sort of just briefly how it works. Basically what it's saying, I had someone the other day, there's a lot of things out there called pods, and nearly everyone I've come across, or people that have told me they're using them, fall down for one of 2 reasons. Because within Post Party Club, everyone likes and comments on each other's content. That's what we've just said. You reply to the comments on your post to serve you best. And we do it within 2 hours, and the algorithm boosts the post to the entire network, which is what I've said. And what I'm going to show you is I've alluded to this guy, Peter Wendt. Now, how do I, first of all, stop the end the show? Peter Wendt's business is teaching people how, excuse me, how to write content that works. And this is what he says about the Post Party Club.
Yeah, Peter Wendt here. I just wanted to give you some very quick feedback on Post Party Club. All good, I'm pleased to say. Just a bit of background. I used to belong to an engagement pod before I joined Post Party Club, probably back at the beginning of December. And in truth, it wasn't a very well organised one. It was relatively informal. People were left just to put a link into a LinkedIn messaging group, and when people came, they came, and if they didn't come, they didn't come. And sometimes you'd find people catching up on likes and comments maybe a day or 2 after a post, which of course is completely ineffective. And I was in that group for a couple of years probably, and you can see on the screen in front of you, I was getting maybe 1,300 views, 2,300, so 1 to 2,000 views in there on the 2 posts you can see. Those are probably the last couple of posts that I did as part of that pod. And then I joined Post Party Club, and just want to quickly show you the sort of results I got. I do a weekly video. I was getting before 300 or 400, maybe 500 views of my videos. I'm now regularly getting over 1,000, maybe 50. And then if you look at the number of views, so here 4,000 views on a post, there's 1,000 views on a video, 4,000 views on a post, 1,500 views on a video, and the numbers keep going up. Nearly 8,000 views on a post, 7,500 views on a post, 1,200 on a video. And there's a couple of posts which I've got going at the moment, 2.5. That's a post I did this morning, so that's still growing, and that'll probably get to 5,000 by the time it's finished. So just a bit of feedback, say thank you very much. Post Party Club has been a huge success for me, and I think that's because of the very disciplined and organized way that you corral everybody together, do all of their engagement and interaction on posts at the same time. I think that's the key to it. Getting those 15 likes and 15 comments and then interacting with them within the 2 hours seems to, at the moment, be touching all the right buttons on the algorithm. So just thought that feedback would be helpful for you. If you want to show this to people in the Post Party Club to encourage them, that'd be great. If any of them want any to have a chat about how I've got my content, doing what I've done, I'd be happy to have that chat too. But hope this helps. Speak to you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.
So play from Cloneside. How about that? And it's interesting that he said,
hi Andy, Peter Wendt here. I just wanted to give you some very quick feedback on Post Party Club. All good, I'm pleased to say.
I reiterate tech again. Let's there we go. There was something to be said for Webinar Jam, but I'm deferring to my team who know more than me. What was interesting, he said it seems to be working for now. He's been in Post Party Club since we started it 2.5 years ago, and he's still in and it's still working. But one of the he teaches people how to write content, and it's just staggering, and not just staggering, but it's instant. And that again is what I like, because it's, for me, it's all about results. And let me take you through this, because I can make sure I'm not jumping off piste, and I've got one eye on the clock. What it allows you to do is to raise your profile and credibility in the crowded market, especially when we're writing content that works. You will generate thousands of views of your posts. I've just said to a new member, go jump in, do your first post or 2, then come and ask me some questions. You'll have lots of thoughts. But he said, I'm getting about 500 views. I thought that was good. I said, well, it is compared to 300 or nothing, and compared to whatever else you're seeing out there. But I expect you to get 1,000 plus in your first post or 2 and build on that. We had somebody with 900 views and they hadn't got many connections. Now, I'll come, let me stick to the script, as it were. It allows you to educate your audience. Remember, it's about what we've talked about. It's about writing content that gives value. And I can argue there's no point posting if nobody's seeing it. I remember an old client of mine, friend of mine, web designer, saying, it's a bit like writing a poster, advertising your services and sticking it in your shed if no one's going to see it. He used to say the same about websites. There's no point having a brilliant website if you're not paying for SEO to get people to see it. Get your name out there, does everything we've talked about before, get your exposure of your content, and ultimately, because views for me is just is it an ego KPI? It has to happen. People have got to see your stuff before you can ultimately get the true KPI you're after. Is more, actually not more leads, it's more business, isn't it? You've got to get views to get leads to get sales, and I keep it simple. That's where we're at. These are a couple of other people. This guy only had a few connections, 860 video views. That's what I was going to say from Peter. LinkedIn looks at views on videos differently as views on a text post, because they actually had to refund a bunch of advertisers, because as soon as you clicked on a video, they classed it as a view. Now, like YouTube and others, you have to view the video for a certain amount of time. I know it's 30 seconds before they class it as a view. So you will always see less views of your videos than you will of just your text posts. Something to be mindful of in case you look at it and go, why isn't this working? It could well be. And Julie, within 24 hours, got 2,000 views of your post. That's how instant it is with the first post. I haven't seen this for a while with LinkedIn, but they used to give people these serviettes or rosettes. Rosettes. I've had 3 of the LinkedIn top 1% rosettes in the first 6 weeks. That's because they were posting consistently through Post Party Club and getting that engagement. And this week, this was well back, she got the 4th rosette. The fact I haven't seen this for a long while tells me LinkedIn constantly changes. They put something out there, they test it, and they change it. By the way, remember the I know attitude? LinkedIn does a lot of stuff. They're hypocrites. They actually say you shouldn't connect with people you don't know, and they're chucking people at you all day long. So my view is get over it, let it go. Let's utilize this to serve us. Some people just went, oh, it's just an ego feeding rosette. Yeah, but you know what? It's nice to use, and it's valuable to use in your content, in your posting on LinkedIn and Facebook and elsewhere. But they've stopped using it. This was a post that I did, and it was with a video, and look, I was so wanted it to get 4,800 views. Actually, I so wanted it to get 5,000. A long time ago, I haven't looked at it lately, but it just to show you that it's instant and it works. And really, this is about, so many people just don't know how to write content. I'm back to people don't learn how to market or sell. Because what happened when we launched this, my style was, this is awesome, this works, I'm using it. Let's go out there and introduce it to people. And then we got members saying, well, this is great, I'm getting views, but I'm still not getting leads. I'm still not getting engagement. And so it comes down to, that's because your content is poor. Is that a bit of a challenge statement? And this is where we hooked up with Peter. I've hooked up with some other people. We've got Peter's 7 most successful styles of posts that work. And we're all about 80% of it, a bit like I mentioned, Leon, my friend, who said 80% of his work around marketing with clients is helping them with their mindset and paradigm and perception. 80% of our work is teaching people how to write content that works and how to use the rest of LinkedIn. And this is where it's unique compared to pods. Peter was right. The reason they fall over is most people don't engage within that 2 hour. They can't, they don't. It's mandatory within Post Party Club. But also people move on because their content's not working for them. So I want to be able to help you write easily posts that work, which you can be using elsewhere in emails and other marketing, and consistently get massive engagement in your posts. It will raise your profile. The number of views, I've said, if you haven't already made a note to go be connecting with people who view your profile, my connection message is slightly different, more engaging. You need to be doing that. You will raise your profiles. Therefore, you will grow your connections. You will generate new business. Even if your content's poor, at some point you've got to, but let's get smart of the right stuff, the right stuff, the right stuff. This is the massive action, is getting views of your posts. The right stuff is then writing content that works for you. And then the consistency is posting every week, every few days. Remember earlier I said I wanted you to suspend the I know. What I didn't say back then is, as a business coach, fundamentally, I've got a client, LinkedIn client, where we're connecting for her, sending out messages. She's written new business. And she was the one who said, I've got a bit of a challenge in my head with, I'm not comfortable with the couple of responses I've had back. So we had a call talking around it, like I said, and she said, I never expected to get coached and she's a business coach, when I took you on to deliver on my LinkedIn activity. And I said, well, because we've known each other a long time, I said, you can take LinkedIn out of the coach, but you can't take the coach out of LinkedIn. Or you can the other way around. No, that way around. Fundamentally, as a coach, I don't care what you think about me. I care about what you go away and do. So I want you to keep an open mind. I want to introduce you to this for a couple of reasons. One is I want to introduce it to you. Remember, I said sales is about presenting information so people can make the best decision. You can work out what the second reason is. We've created Post Party Club as a membership. There are now up to 11 parties a week. I changed that just because it's growing. We now cater more for the Australian market time zones as well as the US time zones. And we guarantee unique participation on the post, because the tech portals, there are 4 of them I've mentioned, where all the members have the same time slots. So you will get participation from other members outside of my Post Party Club, which again is something that Pod just cannot get anywhere near doing. Plus it can't really guarantee unique engagement because it's usually the same people participating. And it's all about sharing results and best practice, not just in posts. By the way, we haven't talked about polls. Polls are magic if you do them in the right way, but not just everything about content, but everything about LinkedIn and everything about marketing. It's about sharing results and best practice, and throw in LinkedIn is constantly changing stuff. So increasing exposure, lead generations and sales through everything LinkedIn. It's easy for us to do within Post Party Club. It includes membership to the Post Party Club private Facebook group. Ironic, interesting, when we set this up, I was being told and seeing we get more engagement in Facebook groups than LinkedIn groups. I have a few members saying they're in Facebook. I'm now hearing people saying they're not getting much engagement from either. I got someone else saying actually LinkedIn groups are working a bit more. So, but the reason we have it in Facebook group is we've got an inordinate amount of resources of everything business development. Obviously, 80% of it is around LinkedIn and content and messages, but everything business development, we've got it within that Facebook group, within files and content and documents and video. I've joined other Facebook membership groups at 49 quid a month, so there's a hard, value there. I belong to some niche groups within real estate investing and motorcycling, as it happens. So you will get, and I urge you, because I've got something here, my team have asked me to do something that I wasn't going to do. I haven't done for a long time, but I've said yes, because this, as I said, is the first one of these webinars we've run this year. There are videos and templates on how to create a powerful LinkedIn profile, magic messages on how to connect and engage in the right way. Remember, I just said I put a post out asking who liked them, and people came inbound saying yes. You get that as part of Post Party Club membership. How to write posts. I put an ebook at the beginning of lockdown, at the beginning of COVID, on how to write posts. I've mentioned a number of times the 7 most successful posts, the styles, examples of them, how to use them. And I've put in there, over the years, I've written an ebook called Referrals Made Easy. We're asking for referrals. Most people get referral business. How to form instant strategic alliances. I said to you, I've been interviewed on other people's podcasts. I work with other people strategically. How to set that up systematically, consistently in your business. Most people are networking. Most people don't know how to network effectively because they don't know how to market effectively. Got my 5 steps to that. Weekly video updates on all the LinkedIn functionality. New stuff every week. That's just part of the Post Party Club. That's all just part of membership. And there are twice monthly group coaching mastermind calls on Zoom where you can bring your questions in. I can share changes and updates, examples of what's been working for other people. It's twice monthly group coaching mastermind calls is what it says on the tin. So joining Post Party Club, we got twice monthly group coaching mastermind calls. Mary's got another, we predominantly drives another membership we've got called 90-day accelerator. Membership to that is 500 quid a month. So there's a value there. LinkedIn coaching, updates, changes. I've said all of this, sharing best practice and post, content marketing and business development, critiques of your content. Do you know what? I've said, lose the I know. I said to my members, just send me your posts if you want a one-on-one call. And people said, how can you do this? I go, because 80% of people don't reach out. Now we've got members who are got bigger businesses and they've got their marketing departments. Posting and post-party club is just a small part of their whole marketing mix. They don't need it. They just want the number of views. They want to access the tech portal that allows that and the engagement. Developing your marketing assets, your hand-raising posts, your lead magnets, tripwires, whatever you want to call them. It's all in there. And it's not moving on. Why is it not moving on? Now, here's the thing I wanted to say to you, because membership's £97 a month. There's no contract. You can go to postpartyclub.co.uk. But here's something that just happened. This is a connection of mine, a client of mine that we've just talked about. He wanted to drive people to his website to download his investor pack. He raised over 300 grand from new investors just within 11 weeks of us working together. Grew his connections by 779, which is interesting because I think that more than doubled his connections at the time. But here's the big point I want to make in the last couple of minutes, and then we'll hand over to Q&A. There is no point joining Post Party Club and driving your ideal client to your profile if your profile's terrible, weak, and disengaging. And I touched on some things you needed to do with your profile. In the old days, I had a 3-month coaching program. I'd spend half of that 6 week coaching someone through every step of their profile, how to write it in a way from a marketing perspective that's engaging. And then we'd look at their strategy, and they pay me 3 grand over 3 months to coach them one-on-one. I put the whole of that coaching program into an online course at the beginning of COVID with the help of a friend of mine who does a lot of courses, and I called it LinkedIn Mastery for Property Investors. Now, that's only because the examples and some of the case studies and the search terms I made property centric. And I battled with my own head stuff saying, well, I should do this for any business owner. But I'm also massively believe that the more niche you are, the more you can tell your story, the more you can get to the right people. Doesn't stop other people asking if you can help them. So I've had business owners say, well, will it help me? Yes, it will. Go buy it. And I was selling it for 500 quid a month online. I am going to include that in membership for anyone here that joins Post Party Club. There's no contract on Post Party Club. If you're really skint and tight and I don't know, somebody I really don't want to work with and you join for a month, take this and then run, whatever, because it's imperative you get your profile right. But also, we've touched on other things you can be doing on LinkedIn, and it covers all of these in depth. So I have been selling it online. I've been promoting it massively in the last year because of what's been going on. There's a bunch of modules. It's all online. You've got access to it forever. How to craft your profile, ongoing profile development, formulating your strategy for success, looking at all of the things in LinkedIn because it's so multifaceted. We've talked about searching and connecting, engaging. What about groups? What about who's viewed your profile? What about this? What about that? Company pages and recruitment. Recruitment's massive on LinkedIn. Always has been. How to recruit for people, or if you're looking for work or jobs, how to use the recruitment side, and then obviously how to put into place and plan what you want to be doing going forward. Because unless you automate, you can't use all of LinkedIn. It's an oxymoron. So what's the 20% of all the stuff you now know on LinkedIn that you can implement in your business consistently that's going to serve you best? So if you join Post Party Club today, and actually, Jack, my digital marketing guy, guru, has said he's keeping it told me we keep this offer open for a week. I said, that's too long. He said, well, that's the way I've set up the follow-up emails and the system. I understand some of you might need to think about it. I know it's Wednesday, partway towards the weekend. It is only open for 1 week from today because of the value that's in that. There's 5 modules. There's 19 short video tutorials. There's templates on my magic messages on how to engage, on how to crib sheets and examples on how to write a profile, how to write the different sections of your profile. I mentioned the magic messages, and I'll give you unlimited email support on it because I can. Because again, the reality of the number of people that will take this up, and then the number of people that will actually use it, and then the number of people that use it that will then reach out to me, it's just crazy how people hold themselves back. So if I'm inundated with new clients wanting unlimited email support, we'll work it, we'll do it, because as soon as you start to get results with this, as soon as you start to get on the crest of a wave, you're off and running and generating business. You will, I guarantee, if you apply what's in that online course, you will find, connect and engage with your ideal contact. I also guarantee you'll find, connect and engage with your ideal contact in a way I can't guarantee. There are more and more clients now generating business because we are engaging with their existing connections, and how to do that in the right way. So, enough said. Post Party Club's 97 quid a month. There is no contract. Actually, no, there is no contract. There's more posts now than there's ever been. There's slots available. You can choose your slot. You can plan forward in the system, in the tech portal, and book the slots forward, so you can manage your diary and your marketing plan and all sorts. If you've got any questions now, drop them in the chat box, because the only reason I'm so confident, and from just what's been happening since we've launched this, since we've been running it and building it, that it will work. So the only reason you wouldn't sort of take it up is you've got that much going on, you're really successful. But I said, those people won't have joined the webinar, or there's just some things you want some clarity about and some questions. And I will include, remember, LinkedIn Mastery for Property Investors online course, lifetime access, that's there on the internet for sale at 497 quid, which includes all of that content, which I distilled 10 years of LinkedIn coaching into that online course. But that is only available this week. If you sign up after that, I can't include it because it's just bonkers. I didn't want to give it away, but my team have said, hey, this is the first webinar of this type we've run this year. We've got a lot of people on it, so let's make it worth your while being on. So I used to run time mastery courses, and I'm a few minutes over the hour. So those of you that stayed on, I thank you for it. I've covered, by covering that offer, really, I've covered a bit more than I have. And I know there's a few new things I threw in there that have happened because LinkedIn have changed. I'm going to hand over to Mary to shout me with whatever questions we've got, and keep the questions coming.
Lots of it gets lots of engagement, want to see lots of engagement on non-business posts, personal stuff. He wants B2B.
Gotcha. Thank you, Derek. You see lots of engagement on non-business posts. It's the crazy human psychology, isn't it? When you talk about your newborn puppy, you will get people like and comment on it. And it's like, why? So I have two questions. Why would you post that if it's not who you're looking to engage with and you want business? Now, might you do it once every couple of weeks or 3 weeks just to mix it up and just to make it human? Possibly. I do very little personal posts. I might weave it in. There is a philosophy that says when you can give self-disclosure, you get more of a relationship. So I wouldn't say don't post anything personal, but I would say vary it and don't, would I do it every couple of weeks or something? It's bonkers how you get people are on LinkedIn and then they're commenting on personal posts. Yeah, when you look at those 7 styles of writing content and posts, it's about, you should be writing about someone's pain and what they're looking to achieve. And I said this to somebody yesterday. I said, in the old days when I was coaching, I had 2 things. I used to give Michael Gerber's The E-Myth Revisited book to prospects. If you haven't read that and you run your own business, you need to. And I also used to have an audio CD of the founder and my mentor, Brad Sugars, in seminar talking about how to build a business. And I got clients, and I'm talking clients at 30 grand a year, that when I gave them the book, they said, that's me he's talking about. I said, well, it isn't. It's a girl who ran a bakery. No, it's me. If you can teach me how to do that, I want in. Because that book talked about his pain and talked about exactly where he was at and what he was looking to achieve. If your post can do that, you will get inbound. So I hope that answers the question. You're right. I haven't got time to comment on somebody's personal posts. Mary, I'm looking that way because Mary's over there.
I have teams. Do you think of what the novel would be good to deliver on teams?
Yeah, I've delivered on Teams. I've done some work each year for Birmingham City Council, which those of you out of the UK, it's the biggest council in Europe. And they use Teams. And as far as I know, yeah, it works. I'm not sure the logistics and details, but I'm pretty sure yes. I would just maybe Google or speak to people and just see what's the pros and cons of that compared to Zoom, compared to Webinar Jam, or whatever. The fact my team have suggested us going back to Zoom compared to Webinar Jam. But I think Teams, yeah, I mean, and if you're starting it, you know, we've got over 500 people registered for this globally. I needed my guys and girls to make sure we've got the thing that was the easiest to use. So apologies again for messing up on the YouTube video. So yeah, I think so.
I find people register for LinkedIn events. I think they're liking it without ever intending to attend, and they don't understand it's not an endorsement to do it.
They like the event.
They think they're liking it, but they click through.
Oh, that's so. Tim, action coach. We should reach out and chat because I'm working with some action coaches around the world. What you're saying is when you publish your event on LinkedIn, people are clicking like the event, but actually they think they're clicking to like it, but they're clicking to attend. I've not experienced that. I need to look at it as.
Sorry, Andy, it's the other way around. So what they're doing is they are clicking on it as if they think it's a like, when in actual fact, what you're asking them to do is to attend. And, you know, they would, if it's a physical face-to-face, but it looks like what a lot of people do is they just see it and then they click on it because they like the look of it as if it's a like, but they're not actually intending to attend.
So they're clicking the blue button that says attend.
Yeah. As if it's a like.
Yeah. Okay. If you've not, I've put together a walkthrough video, 3 minutes, and I'll send it to you. Remind me, message me, and I'll send it to you. And I don't know whether you're aware of it, because LinkedIn's powerful. If you set it up in the right way, and this video shows you how to, LinkedIn will, like, first of all, you could invite 1,000 of your connections to an event. But the reality is that's as an invite, so it goes in the notifications. Some people won't see them. That's why the numbers are great, because it's a small amount of people who see it. Some people might have their settings to not even accept or see event invites. But you can also direct message up to 500 people a week anyway. So that direct message could be an invite in the form of an invite. But if you set it up in the right way, LinkedIn allows you to upload the list of attendees into your CRM. Now that is magic. That's gold dust. Speak to any Facebook guy, will tell you it's $10 an ad to get people registered to an event, and they're your target audience. I've never had anybody mention, I didn't click to attend, I just wanted to like it. So I would just maybe look at what's the numbers of those. So it's interesting, but just flip me a direct message saying, send me a walkthrough video, because then I know where, if you're in the UK, I know where you're limited to geography and stuff, but when I delivered on marketing for Brad Sugars' webinar last year, it was global, and we got 1,000 people registered because I can automate the LinkedIn side. But even if you're doing it manually, do it right and you get to upload the data, and that's gold dust. That's the hidden secret sauce that most people just don't realize. So great. I mean, if people are clicking a blue attend button thinking they're liking it, this is just human nature again, isn't it? People are busy, they're not paying attention. I don't know whether the milkman's run off with the cat. I don't know what's going on in the desk, but it's like we've just said about, why do I get massive views on a personal post about my newborn puppy? It's just, why do people read my post when there's an emoji? You're into psychology, you're a business coach. It just, I have to.
Do you think people now see LinkedIn just like any other social media platform, and they're treating it as if it was like Instagram, and if it was like Facebook? Or is there still a sense that it is definitely a B2B platform?
Yeah, I think so. I think if the easy answer, and I'm not suggesting Post Party will work for you, because we've got other coaches and other people, definitely. If you get access to that online course, I talk about all the things you can do. It is still the most powerful thing for direct connection and engagement. There was a lot of talk saying at COVID, oh, we're bombarded now, direct messages don't work. Well, we've changed our direct messages to include content. Hey, great to connect. Here's an article I wrote, or here's a checklist I've just put together on how you can save on widgets. Hope it's of value. So we're giving, and we're just waiting for inbound, because I can automate the volume and the consistency. No, I don't think so. I think the danger with anything, back to this, I know, is we get it, we see something. I used to get people going, we're bombarded with posts. I said, no, not really. I said, you're seeing them because your RAS is set for it, your focus is set for it, but you're seeing them because you're in that space. As a coach with the SME business, it's like property investors. Oh, there's 1 million property trainers. No, there isn't. There's probably a handful, but because you're in that space, you're seeing it. So it's worth, just recognizing that. No, I never say never. It's just more powerful now. Yes, we have two unique things. Post Party Club is unique on two levels. My direct messaging and engagement to go and connect, and then message to get inbound engagement is unique. And that is the difference. I couldn't do this 5 years ago when I said I just had a 3-month coaching program. It was teaching people everything. And the reality is, first of all, you can't do it all. There's so much with LinkedIn. Secondly, people are not consistent and disciplined enough. So we can take some of that away. So no, I think, no, it's still magic. And I think actually part of it is people know they should be using it, but they don't know how to, everything we've talked about, they don't know how to write content. They don't know how to engage meaningfully on other people's posts. They don't know how to write messages that engage with people. So that's why you're seeing there's so much noise and fluff out there. If we get the right stuff or the right stuff, it cuts through that. I've got one of your colleagues in South Africa. South Africa, we've discovered is a little bit unique in that there's a real thirst, for coaching and consulting and stuff in the UK. It's not saturation, but it's noisy because it's had 20 years of that. So you've got to really cut through that noise to give a powerful message. South Africa, there's a thirst for people wanting to use LinkedIn. I hope that helps. Mary, what next we got?
What's the difference between a post and an article?
Okay, thanks, Sten. What's the difference between a post and an article? First of all, a post was limited to 1,300 characters, I said, but they're now made it 3,000. But a post is in your live stream. An article sits on your profile. So there's an argument to say a lot of people won't see that article. But where else can you be using that article once you've published it? You can send it out to your email base, you can put it in Facebook, you can put it on your website, you can send it to prospects. Articles are good content. Remember, I said you've got to give value. The way you give value is to give content. So a post is on the live stream. When people look at their homepage, they'll see posts and they'll squash down and then search from an article sits on your profile. There is a way when you publish your article to leverage it through Post Party Club and get a load of views. Nice thing with that is when people see your article on your profile, it shows the number of likes and comments. You look at most people's articles, they won't have that. Articles are typically perceived as being lengthier because they might be like a blog. The mistake some people make in their post is they just put the link straight through to the article. Now, my perception, I said, is that posts are fairly short and to the point. If I then click through to a big lengthy article of yours, you've missold me, I'm disappointed, I'm out of here. So you need to be careful. This is about the right stuff on how to use articles as posts, or how to write your post that grabs their attention and then refer in the right way to the article. So one of the things I said is don't put links in your post, but you can refer to the link and say, I've put it in the comment below. That bypasses the suppression of the algorithm. And by the way, it's another comment in the comments that adds to the algorithm. So it's about getting smart with it. So the difference typically is post is short and in the feed, article will sit there, it's lengthier, it's like a blog. But then the key thing we talk about is where can you be using it? Which gets most views? Well, a post will, because you're pushing a post out there as a post. And then if you tap into the algorithm through Post Party Club, post will. But I've just said there's a way of you leveraging your article through the Post Party Club when you first publish it. But you just need to understand how best to do that. If someone's writing a bunch of articles every week, I might be talking to them about why aren't you writing one or two key ones and then posting? I had somebody the other day say, well, I'm posting every day. I said, okay, but if I can be getting you, or you can be getting 2,000 and 3,000 views of your posts instead of 500, could argue you only need to post once a week and save yourself a lot of time. I'd actually recommend a couple to 3 times a week, just for that consistency. So this is the detail around the right stuff that we work with members on, because you're asking a great question. It's sort of detailed. My first step would be you should be posting. And if you're not getting thousands of views of your posts, you're sort of wasting your time writing them. You've got to tap into that algorithm. And if you're writing articles, my question would be, what are you doing with them? Because an article, when you publish it on LinkedIn, just sits on your profile. So where else can you be using that? And is it good content? So hope that's helped. Mary.
Just how much of your working week in hours would you suggest you need to be on LinkedIn for Alan?
Wow. Is that Alan C. Clark?
Hi,
Alan,
Andy. I'm
Yeah.
having a hard time listening to Mary.
You're having a hard time listening to them. I can't hear Mary. That's okay. I'm going to repeat it. Mary's on mute, otherwise you'll get lots of echo and stuff. So thank you.
I hope you don't mind.
Say again? No, don't say again. Let me answer it. It's cool because we've still got a lot of people online. Alan was asking how much time would I recommend being on LinkedIn in a week? Yeah. How long's a piece of string? I think it's all about return on your time, isn't it? So when I first got into LinkedIn, I wasn't posting. If you'd have asked me before Post Party Club, in fact, when I was teaching, it was before the online course, because we'd had Post Party Club just before. Before that, when I ran a 12-week coaching program, I would have said, I don't put a lot of value on posts because I don't get many views. I now understand why. And actually my content probably wasn't brilliant. So I stopped, I didn't do much of it. What I used to do in the old days, I wanted to get to franchisors at one point, because I want to teach their franchisees how to get sales. So I could search on LinkedIn manually. I didn't need the sales navigator, but you could do it. It's clunky, but I could screenshot the searches and I could go and connect with a bunch of franchisors each day. And then when they accepted, I could message them saying, hey, do you want to, who should I be talking to that might be interested in helping your franchisees generate more business? And then I got a bunch of conversations, a bunch of appointments, a bunch of sales meetings, and I had to do a bunch of quotes, then I had to do a bunch of follow-ups. So I stopped using LinkedIn. And then when that well dried, I'd go and do it again. And that was, so how long was I spending? It was sort of like that. I think it's what's the outcome. If you've not got many connections, you need to be connecting every day. I've got stuff going out on LinkedIn every day. Everyone who connects with me, they get a series of messages until they reply. By the way, all of you should be connecting with me on LinkedIn. You will get an automated message back, but the moment you respond inbound on LinkedIn to me, I will personally reply. So I've got that consistently happening because we're able to automate it. So how much time do I spend? I am just picking up inbound LinkedIn messages like I do email each day. So it's probably taking me 20 minutes, half an hour, depends what's coming. How much would I spend on posting? Well, once you're good at writing content, you ought to be able to write a post in about 20 minutes. There are 3 days of post parties, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And I said there's 11 slots, so there's obviously 3 and 4 a day. But actually, you really only want to be posting once a day because the algorithm will give preference to your second post over your first if you post more than once. Why would you do that if your first post is still gaining momentum? So actually, I say to members and new members, you want to be posting a couple of 3 times a week, ideally. Now, I have my VA in the Philippines do my engagement, taught him how to write meaningful comments to help your posts that come into me and vice versa. And then I'm checking in for inbound conversation that wants us to take it offline, remember. So how much time am I spending on posts? I'm not actually posting right now 3 times a week, but Mary is for the other side of the business we've got. Each post party for you to participate is about an hour. We've said it's a 2-hour window, but it's about an hour, but you're not tied up for an hour because you're waiting for people to comment on your post for you to comment back. Well, I can do that voice to text on my phone in the bar. I can do that on my laptop while I'm picking up emails. And then at the beginning, I've got to comment on 15 posts. I can do that in 15 minutes. So although it's an hour of me focusing on the post party, it's not an hour solid work. I'm doing it in between. So you can leverage your time massively. And if you've got a VA or a marketing agency to do it, you can leverage it more. So I write my own posts, but I do them in about 20 minutes. That's the posting side. Your direct connection and engagement, it's back to what are you looking to achieve? How many people do you need to be connecting with or messaging and engaging to get the phone call or the conversation offline? I can automate all of that so that I'm just responding to inbound messages. So I hope that's giving you some thought. It's really how long's a piece of string. Peter Went, you saw on that video, most of his business comes from LinkedIn, but he's certainly not on it. Marketing is about systemizing it and leveraging it. Massive Action, write stuff consistently. So it depends whether you're going to invest. With any marketing, you've got to invest, haven't you? With Post Party Club, it's 97 quid a month. It's more of an investment of time. But I said I've got my VA doing some of it for me. And I've got members that have got marketing agencies doing it. The done for you to connect and message, to automate, you've got an investment of the automation or a bigger investment for me to take care of that and do it all for you. So it's more of an investment of money than time, because you are just free to respond to inbound messages. So I hope that answers the sort of question. We've got a couple of hands up. Do you want to take them on video, or are they typing them in? Have you got a bunch of questions, Mary, still? Okay. I tell you what, Fiona and John, if you want to drop it in the chat box, Mary can come to it, because there's some other questions that are already in there. Okay. So Mary, next one.
Should you brand all your content?
Should you brand all your content? I have a different style to some people. We all have different styles. You will get branding marketing companies that say yes. Somebody sent me a PDF for me to send out for their messages, and it got their contact details on the bottom. I said, why? Because you're sending it out as a LinkedIn message. If they want to respond, they'll click on your profile and message you. So I think it's got to look good. I think a simple answer would be put yourself in the reader's shoes and go, what would they want to see?
Hannah's also got how often per week to post on any best day or time?
How often per week to post in the best day and time? I think I've just covered that, Hannah. Post party clubs on Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, just so that there's 3 days a week. But you know what? If you're getting thousands of views of your posts, then how many times a week do you need to post? If you're getting inbound coming in, best times of the day? No, because it's this algorithm. That's a good question, Hannah, because in the old days, I would get people, well, you could Google it. When's the best day of the week? When's the best time? But actually, it's about the engagement, remember? The algorithm pushes your post out to test it to 10% of your connections. It wants to see people engaging and you re-engaging for it to boost it out. So it's irrelevant at the time of the day. The post-party slots are the same times forever on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So everybody around the world engages. You put your post, you write your post, you post it on LinkedIn, you submit it into the portal, and then you get 15 peers posts to engage in and co-engage in. So somebody's just posted, John, go on, another one from Hannah. I don't know where you are, Hannah. It'd be great to see on video, but go on.
Should you put the link in the comments or ask people to contact you
For the link, perfect. Hannah said, should I put the link in the comments or ask people to ask for the link? So if it's a link to some content, I call them assets. Could be a checklist, could be some information, could be my magic messages, could be examples of how to do X, could be an article on Y. Yeah, definitely ask them to ask for it. I call that the hand-raising post. So if you look at my last post, it said, hey, just had a great testimonial in or case study in from a client. And it was the one you saw. I got 700 new connections, 56 downloads to my investor pack on my site, signed 300 grand worth of business. I said, and we did that by creating some magic messages to connect and engage with his network. And I've just put that into a PDF. Let me know if you'd like a copy. Because the moment someone says, yes, please, that's another comment in the comments for the algorithm. I then comment back and go, you're welcome, Hannah. I'll send it via direct message now. Because that, remember the mantra, I want to take the conversation offline as quickly as possible or off LinkedIn. So now I send it to her. Now I can follow up. How did you get on with the link? How did you get on with the PDF? How did you get on with the information? Would you like to chat? So absolutely, Hannah, because if you just include the link to your asset, you don't know who's watched it. Well, you might be able to track videos, so that might be slightly differently. But if I just put that PDF up there and said, hey, look what my client's done, and we put this PDF of the magic messages we've used, here it is for you to use. I don't know who's got it, who's read it, who's downloaded it. So no, ask them to put their hand up and say, yes, please, I'd like one. Great point.
Gail, how about those who run a portfolio business? I run 3 different businesses.
Way to go, Gail. How about people who run a portfolio of businesses? I run 3 businesses. And I've got probably 3 or 4 different revenue streams. What are we in now? We're in the era of multiple streams of revenue and portfolio careers. So I cover that on the LinkedIn Mastery online course I said I'd include in membership for this week, because it's very common with property investors. You know, hey, I'm trying to build a property portfolio, but I'm still employed in corporate, or I've also got this business and this business. I talk about how to position your profile to maximize that. You can see from my profile, I talk about the about section and the experience sections. There's a way to do it to get not just creative, but make it easy for the reader. And when it comes to posting, well, you can post about them all on different days, can't you? It's easy. I meet people that go, well, am I sending out confusing messages? Well, no, not if they're not confusing. Make it clear. You definitely want to rewrite your profile through. I cover the 9 or 10 different sections of the profile and how to use it effectively so that it works for you. And in that, we talk about, you know, most businesses have got multiple different target markets, multiple product streams. You know, I work with an insurance company that was commercial insurance and domestic. We structured it because if you want to insure your white van, you don't want to read about how to insure your swimming pool and vice versa. So it's about getting creative around that. So I would say go through that LinkedIn Mastery Online course. It covers that. Or if you want to talk specifically about what you're looking to achieve, just message me on LinkedIn. Remember, I said connect with me on LinkedIn. You will get some automated messages. But if you go, look, I really want to talk to you. I'm really looking at diving into this and getting it sorted as a clear ongoing strategy in my business. Can we talk it through? Message me and we can set up a time. Mary.
A couple of people have asked about, is there a code to put in joining PPC?
No. I got you. Is there a code to put in joining PPC to get the bonus? No. If you sign up in the next 7 days, my guys have systemized it. You will get access to Limpy, LinkedIn Mastery Property Investor. You'll get access to that LinkedIn course. There will be some emails going out to remind you, and then it stops because of the value in that. I want you to have it because I want you to be able to get your profile right and understand what else you can do with LinkedIn if you're going to join Post Party Club, because Post Party Club is one part of LinkedIn, one part of your marketing. LinkedIn is one part of your marketing. But there's no point driving views and learning how to write great content if your profile's weak. But also, I've said more people are going to view your profile. One of the most underrated strategies is connecting with people who've viewed your profile. But you want to connect in a slightly different way with a slightly different message. I cover that in the online course. So I'd rather you have that, because we've got Post Party Club members that have been in since the beginning for 2.5 years because it's sort of working. But also, in Post Party Club, I used to have one-to-one clients at $1-2 grand a month, and I could coach them and work with them around all of this. I've had people say, how come you're talking to me within Post Party Club when I know what your private clients pay? I said, because I can, because of the volume of membership, because the amount of people that actually ask for help stuns me. So once you're in Post Party Club, we can engage more around everything to do with LinkedIn. So no, there's no code. You join Post Party Club at 97 quid a month. When you go in, you will see there's a second price we've just launched. I hadn't mentioned it because there is no support. There's no Facebook group. There's no twice monthly Zoom calls. There's none of my templates. There's none of the stuff. It's purely for the bigger businesses that have gone, we don't need you. We've got our marketing department. Posting is a small part of our whole mix. We just want to tap into your tech and your algorithm. If I had someone say, well, I'm skin, can I join that? I said, I'd rather you didn't, because if you can get some results from your post, fine. But remember, I said when we launched this, people went, this is awesome, but we're not getting engagement because your content's poor. This 80% about this is about content and some of the great questions you've just asked. You know, what about my profile if I've got multiple streams of income or different businesses, all that stuff. So if you join at 97 quid a month, you'll get access to Limpy. We'll email you separate membership and access, and you've got that for life then. So thank you.
Lindsay, 2 questions.
Okay.
First one, she manages social media for a niche charity, Scottish Cut Death Trust. Small following on LinkedIn, about 150. Is the advice you're giving today for personal profiles or business?
Okay, great question. Lindsay manages a small charity in Scotland, quite niche. You said only a few followers, about 100 odd. I'm presuming you mean on your company page. So I don't know whether you're looking to target just people very geographically niche and small. You could drop that into Mary. This algorithm to boost your posts is only sound on a personal profile. And this is the challenge businesses have. Don't care whether you're a charity or business, same thing. Anybody with a company page, I have a company page. I think we've got a couple, most people, a lot of people have a company page. The algorithms only sound on your personal profile. So the mistake businesses with teams who've got someone marketing or pushing stuff out for them is you're never going to get that traction. My only two arguments for having a company page, if you're a bigger business, and this happened to a client of mine who said, you've been delivering on my profile for a couple of years, will you now deliver on my new sales director's profile in New Zealand? So he started building his connections and then he left. So the boss had lost those connections. Whereas if you get your team to encourage people to follow your company page, if a key member of staff left, you've got those connections, followers that you could communicate with, but then you have to push out content to them. The algorithm's not sound. My argument would be how many people are actually seeing it. So the way I say to people is select a decision maker. It could be the MD, marketing manager, whoever's profile you're going to use. So if it's you, was it Lindsay?
Next question. Yes.
Yeah. So if it's you doing the marketing for them, Lindsay, I would be posting through your profile. You might need to make sure your profile's edited to be sound. If the charity's saying we want to build followers on our company page, there's not a lot of value in that. The other argument for company pages, remember, as I said, forgot his name, the action coach was saying, what about events? You need to publish your event on a company page, not on a personal profile, because you want to be able to upload the attendees. So my answer would be, you can certainly niche geographically. We've got members who are property investors saying, I just want to get to people in Hull. And then you've got to get smart with your content, your hashtags, your stuff. But yes, of course, it can happen. If it's a charity and you want donations from anywhere, so in answer to the question, post-party will work, but you have to deliver on it through a personal profile. I'd suggest that was yours. Selfishly, unless you've got anyone else from the charity on the call at the moment, you're going to build your own personal connections as a byproduct. So that's going to serve you as well. I hope that answers the question. If you're still not clear, just A, type it in, or B, reach out to us and we can have a chat.
Part two for Lindsay.
Part two for Lindsay. Okay.
The charity's got a personal and business page. Is it possible to invite LinkedIn contacts to the business page? The process she's aware of was to add them on the personal page and invite to the business page using the 100 invites, which you mentioned at the start.
Right, I didn't mention 100 invites at the start for a company page. This is probably a bit specific for you compared to other people on the call. You can only invite people to follow your company page. If you've said the charity has also got a personal page, I don't know whose profile that is. I don't like personal profiles being set up as a business. LinkedIn doesn't like it either. So you might have a logo or whatever, you want to use the business page. I would be posting, if you're going to post, it needs to be through a personal profile. I'd be doing it through whatever you've got. Company pages, it's a two-step process. You've got to ask people to follow it. You've then got to push content out and do both. If you're posting on your personal profile to get the algorithm and get thousands of views, you can still repost that on your company page and share it on your company page. It'll do something for you, but the power is going to be you posting on a personal profile. Thank you. Well, just before you carry on, we got plenty more. We've still got a lot of people on the call. I said to you right at the beginning, and it's great to see. I'm happy. I was going to share with you, I've got nothing else booked today. Mary belongs to a book club. She's going for lunch in the village with some other expats. This is our main work for today. I'm happy to stay here for as long as we've got questions, because I think there's some great questions. Because what I know is you can take, and I urge you again, this isn't, I don't care what you think about me, I care about what you're going to go away and do. So if this is answering your questions and you go, do you know what, I can now do this on my post for my charity, great, I can now do this with my profile. Because I know if you really want best results to be generating inbound communication, conversation, engagement with your audience, you've got to be posting through Post-Party Club, because it is unique in at least those two ways. And if you're consistently looking to connect and engage with connections and your existing connections, you've got to look at automating it, whether you take that in-house or whether we work together and I do it, in which case we need to speak. So I want you to take whatever you can take, because ultimately if you're looking at doing this consistently to not just scale, but consistently, what we've got, I know, is magic and unique. So what other questions have you got? Whether it's about Post Party Club and how that works and how membership works, or just questions on LinkedIn generally. What else have we got, Mary?
Skip. Links.
Okay.
Question, company or personal.
Right, I think I've covered that, Martin. How do you get the right balance of posting between personal profile and company page? I would say it's got to be on a personal profile. Let me say this once and for all. The algorithm that we've talked about, 15 likes, 15 comments that you re-comment on within 2 hours of posting, has to be through a personal profile. That algorithm is not sound on a company page. But if you've got a business and you're running a company page and you've got followers, by the way, if you haven't got thousands of followers, not many people are seeing your content, then just post the same content on your company page at the same time, or tweak it slightly and get your team to share it on the company page. If you're running a company page where you've got followers and you want them to see that content, because if you're getting followers on a company page, you've got to give them content otherwise. And the reality is most won't see it. So balance 80% personal profile, share it across to your company page, just as a matter of course, because you've already got one. I thought I'd turned off WhatsApp. Anyway, so that answers that question, I hope. Definitely Post Party Club on your personal page. What you do manually then is just share the post through your company page as well. But the results you're going to get on your company page, negligible. It's got to be 80-90% personal profile. Mary.
Sean, how do you rate short videos and reels on Facebook?
How do I rate short videos and reels on Facebook? When you say, well, I don't actually sit down and rate them, but I thought you mean, what's my view on them? Short video works. Peter Wendt, you just saw on the video, he showed you some videos, but actually most of his posts are text because he gets the response. What I know is people like video. What I have heard, depends who your audience is. If you're targeting any employees, could be sales managers, purchasing managers, office, whatever, they will look at stuff on their phone and they like to see video that they can read the text underneath because they're in and out of working. My audience isn't that. My audience is self-employed and business owners. Your video needs to be no less than 2 or 3 minutes. People will zone out. How do I rate videos on Facebook? Facebook has a place. I tend to use Facebook for groups of members and private members and open public groups that I've got people in. Facebook ads definitely work. Tell me why you're asking about Facebook. Facebook tends to be a better place for business to consumer, although Facebook ads can work, but then you've got to pay for ads. And the great thing, so it depends. The key answer is what are you looking to achieve? How do you write short videos? Oh, well, John, you then, rate it. Okay, beg your pardon. I'm got half an eye on the messages that Mary's managing. When you get somebody to do a job that can do it better than you, let them do it. There's some free advice that I've just reminded myself of. That's my view on it. My question would be why Facebook, but push the same videos out on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter and whatever. Yeah, it can work. It's about the right stuff again, isn't it? I get business from Facebook, but I don't spend much time on it because I'm just so leveraged and focused on LinkedIn. It's back to pre-LinkedIn, pre-me using LinkedIn. I would have worked up with business owners saying you want 10 marketing strategies in place, all giving you leads so you can turn them up and down if things change. You can now triple, quadruple that with all the social media. So where do you go? You've got to have a clear marketing plan as to what am I looking at. If you're business to business or business to professional, I think LinkedIn is the best starting place. Yes, we have emails and we have emails to keep in touch with people. We have email marketing to go out, get people into webinars. Webinars is a set marketing strategy of mine, isn't it? Put people in a webinar. So then you've got marketing before that to get them into webinar. So we use email. We've been using Facebook ads, YouTube ads. You've got to decide. And then what I say to people is if you're going to start with LinkedIn, then we've got multiple things in there, haven't we? We've got posts and Post Party Club. We've got direct outreach. We've got other things in there. What are you going to use? And then build on it. I met someone the other day where I said, you've got too much. Focus on one thing at a time. So if Facebook is where your audience hangs out, there's the mantra. Who's my ideal contact? Who's my ideal prospect? and where do they hang out in the highest concentration? So great question. I hope that's answered, John. What else we got, Mary?
Please, Smith, what if we've got a low number of connections? Is that going to impact your results?
Yeah, of course it is. What if you've got a low number of connections? Is it going to impact on my results? Yes. But that said, remember I said the algorithm for posts will push your post out to about 10% of your connections to test it. When it sees that you're getting engagement from your network, that you're engaging back on quickly, it will boost it out to the rest of your connections and the connections of those that engage. But one of the life strategies you need for life is consistently building your connections. My middle nephew is now 25. When he was 21, he got an internship in Hong Kong from someone he met on LinkedIn. He went out to China to university, but he's got people on LinkedIn. I found lawyers in Spain when I was in England on LinkedIn. You want to be consistently building those anyway. And if you've only got a few, your average CEO compared to, according to Google, has just under 1,000 connections. I got 20 odd thousand. There's lots of people out there now with 2, 4, 6, 10,000 connections because he's been around for so long. So if you've got less than an average 1,000, but think about it, if the average CEO has 1,000 and each of those connections have 1,000, you've now got 1 million second tier connections that you can get to through his connections. So you want to be building connections. Now, that testimonial I showed you where the property developer said, I've built 779 connections in 11 weeks. That's because I was delivering. I was automatically connecting with his ideal prospect. Then we were messaging them and engaging them. We were doing that consistently every day. Some of you will have heard LinkedIn have limited the connection invites you can send, and people will tell you it's 100. It's not true. It's another algorithm. It's up to, I'm getting clients where we're getting up to 200 invites a week. That's 50 a day. 40 to 50 a day invites we're sending out for our clients. And then when they accept, we're messaging them and engaging with them. So you want to be connecting and building connections as quick as you can if you've got small, because yeah, of course it's going to impact on your results. But remember, there was another testimonial in that PowerPoint of Sam, I think, who got 1,000 views or 800 odd views. He only had a few hundred connections. And in fact, when we launched this, we worked with a guy, he's a young guy, who'd only got something like 12 connections, and he's still got views and results. So yes, it will limit it. No, it doesn't mean you won't get results. And C, you need to be building connections. And actually, if you've got a few, you need to be building them as quickly as you can, really, but in the right way. So thank you for that. What else do we have, Mary?
What's your view on thanking people, either for likes or thanking them in messages through video or voice messages instead of text?
What's my view on thanking people? It's great. What's my view on thanking people for, what did you say?
For
Likes. No, it's too labor intensive. You've got to look at the right stuff. Remember, massive action, right stuff consistently. You've got to look at a return on time. LinkedIn is like a game of chess, or those of you who play poker. It's simple to understand, but it's so deep, so faceted. There's so many things you could do. You've got to look at what's going to serve you best. Now, my automation allows me to thank people for endorsing me. Now, human behavior, I've said, is bonkers. People will endorse you and they don't even know you. I would never do that. I don't even endorse people. I can automate endorsing people, but it's such a small task strategy within LinkedIn. But where's it going to get you? But I do automatically thank people for endorsing me. I set my automation up to that because I have a bit of fun, because I had someone come back and said, oh, you're welcome. I can go back and say, why are you endorsing people that you don't even know? Now I've got a conversation with them offline, because I have people say, I've just endorsed you. Can you endorse me back? And I go, no, I don't know you. My values only allow me to endorse you, people I know. I suggest you look at your LinkedIn strategy. By the way, you want to talk about it. People that like your posts, would I thank them? You join Post Party Club, you'll get that many likes, you can't do that. But actually, the 80% of the likes to begin with are your peers within Post Party Club, and they're gonna like and comment, and you're gonna read comment back. So no, I don't thank people for liking. Now, if someone's given me a recommendation, then I absolutely thank them, and I'll do the same for them if they want it, because they've gone out of their way to type a lot of stuff about the recommendation, but most of my recommendations, I've asked them for it. So I think thanking people for likes on a post is not, I wonder where it's going to serve you. You're better off getting your posts thousands of views through Post Party Club and learning to write your posts so that you get inbound response. Remember the lady who asked, should I put the link in? And I said, my hand raising post, here's my magic messages PDF. Do you want it? Yes, please. Now I can go, here it is. By the way, how'd you get on with it? When do you want to speak about it? What are you doing? Far better use of time. Hang on. Bev Jones said it was more about sending a message to thank them for connecting, etc. So it was a piece of advice I was given yes, for connecting. Right. Thank you, Bev. Now then, my process, and I automate this, remember, is I go and connect with someone. When they accept, I send them a welcome message. Thanks for connecting. Here's why I connected. Actually, what I do now is go, thanks for connecting. By the way, you'll see from my profile that I do X, Y, and Z for people. I've just launched this new article on how you can achieve blah, blah. I've attached it. Hope it's of value. Then 3 to 5 days later, I'll send them a follow-up message. Hey, what did you think of blah, blah? We've been connected a short while. By the way, here's something else I can send to you. I hope it's of value. Because I send another follow-up message another week later. So they've had a welcome message and 2 follow-ups. You can't control that manually. So I definitely thank people for connecting. If I've asked to connect with them, actually I automated does it with them all. And then what was the thank them for connecting, etc. So it's a piece of advice I was given, or for a recommendation I've covered. Yeah. Video now, yeah. I could put together a generic video. That's a good idea. That's the asset. I've said it might be a checklist, a PDF, an article, a post. It could be a short video. Nice. And yes, I send out a sequence of welcome and 2 follow-up messages. In one of those often is a video. And the nice thing with video, I use Loom, L-O-O-M, great, and it's free for short videos, but you can store them and it's all links and it pulls through the thumbnail, possibly like a YouTube video, so they can see your thumbnail of your video. That's visually attractive. So yeah, I will often send out video, but I've got to make them generic. I'm not going to personalize a video for everyone I connect with, because that could be literally dozens a day. So it's easy to think of recording a video that's generic. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, thank people for joining in. And I'll pick up the phone to someone who's given me a recommendation and thank them. So yeah, absolutely. This is all about engaging in the right way, isn't it? But the challenge people have is most people don't even do what you're talking about, Bev. They don't even send a welcome message once they're connected with someone. But then I've said I'm sending 2 follow-ups, which you can't handle manually. But the other big thing that people don't do is they're not then messaging, engaging with their connections, whether it's a new connection this week, this month, or what did we say? I don't know how many you've got, Bev. Average is 1,000. I got 20,000. People are not engaging with their connections. Posts will allow you to do that. Direct messages, and we can send out up to 100 direct messages a day to stay under LinkedIn's radar and protocols and stuff. So I could message 100 of my connections a day. Hey, wondering how you are. Here's what I've got. Here's something for you. Engaging with them. The amount of my done for you clients, I used to lead with, let's go connect, let's go welcome, let's go connect. Now I've got more clients getting business because we've messaged someone they've already been connected with that they never thought of engaging. And I'll give you the absolute best example of that. I mentioned Thomas Power because he came up in that search. It's got to be 6 years ago, maybe. My automation sends out a congratulations on the work and the new job. That's a powerful one. You definitely want to be congratulating people on their work, their new job. When someone changes their experience section, LinkedIn, if their settings are right, we'll let the network know. So my automatic message says, hey, congratulations on the new role. I'm sure you'll be very busy settling in, but as and when you might want to talk about how you can get more business out of LinkedIn, happy to chat. I don't do that for birthday. I don't weave in a sales message, a call to action. That's crass. Just happy birthday. Have a great day. Same with work anniversary. Sure. I don't know about you, but how fast the year's gone. I don't know whether it's now prompted you to think about the next year. If you're looking to achieve X, always happy to chat. I had Thomas Power send me a message back that just went, are you having a laugh? And when I looked into it, I realized he changed his experience section with a new charity he was involved in. This guy's got 30,000 connections. He built a thing called eAcademy before LinkedIn existed. LinkedIn's directors still monitor him, even though LinkedIn killed eAcademy years ago. So he's a phenomenal networker. When I looked at what happened, I saw he just changed his experience section and then put a new charity in. So I messaged him back and said, this is what's happened. And it was automation. It went out to you. By the way, Thomas, I wonder what you're doing with your 30,000 connections to engage with them daily. Happy to chat. You should look at this. My desk phone rang and it never rings because I don't have a desk phone now in Spain. It rang, it was him. And we've been doing business together ever since because my automation messaged him with congratulations on the work anniversary and you weave in nicely. So absolutely thank people. The challenge you've got again, I can't send out birthday wishes to everyone, new job wishes, congratulations, work anniversaries. You viewed my profile. Congratulations on endorsing me or thank you. You just can't manage it. This is where LinkedIn's the challenge. But when you can, the only way is to automate it. And if that's what you're looking at doing, because that is powerful. I've written business from, I connect with everyone who's viewed my profile. Hey, I noticed you viewed my profile recently, just wondering what interested you to do, so how I might be helped. Think about it. A small percentage will have viewed for a reason. Most aren't. We've talked about human psychology. They're just surfing. So hope that's answered the question the long way around. Mary, what else have we got? Because I'm very conscious of people's time. Kieran.
I want to target LinkedIn market in the States, other than different time zone and B2C. As LinkedIn members can be my audience customers, is it possible via PPC? Yes, I've got
yes. I can't remember his name again. Kieran. Kieran wants to target people in the US, different time zones. It's B2C, I think he said. Will Post Party Club work? Absolutely. Even easier, but we've got time slots that suit the US specifically because there's we've got 4 portals, remember? 2 of them are US based. So you will get participation from people on both sides of the pond. So you can choose your time slot, but actually with posts, I don't think it matters because people will see it in their feed when they log on. What I thought you were going to say, so yes, definitely is the answer. Join PPC. We've got a lot of members, not just stateside, but we've got members here. I had a member at the beginning said, I don't want people from the US commenting on my post. That's not my target. I said, keep an open mind, remember? And what happened fairly quickly was someone in the US had participated on their post. That person in the US had connections in the UK who saw his comments, saw the post and engaged with my member in the UK. And I think they wrote business, so it blew his mind. So definitely join Post Party Club. If you're looking to connect and direct message with people in a different time zone, then my automation, you can set that. So yeah, I've got clients in the US. I've got a great client in Texas. We're sending out messages, but I'm sending them out at 1 a.m. UK time, or whatever time UK time. No, it's not true, is it? Between whatever UK times that suits office hours in the US. So again, you can automate that for direct messaging and connections. Connection invites you can send out anytime because people will pick it up when they're awake. But I don't direct message people outside of office hours. I will send the event invites outside of office hours because they'll pick those up. So if you're looking to connect with people in the US and direct message them, then yeah, we can easily automate that through US office hours. But in answer to your Post Party Club, definitely go join. Be great fun working on that with you.
And Teresa asked a similar question. Would you ever use LinkedIn for B2C? Because business people are consumers too.
Yeah, would I ever use LinkedIn for B2C market? Because and I think you've answered the question, because my clients are business owners as well. So yes, excuse me, there's a lot of network marketers and I've worked with some of them to help them do that. So if I was selling, I think it depends what you're selling. If I was selling funeral services, it's an interesting one. I've worked with people with that. So I don't know, will writing, that's business to consumer. But who's your best clients? Well, it's the high net worth, maybe managers, directors. Well, they're on LinkedIn. So yes, yes, definitely. Worth looking at. Now, someone's just said to me, Michael Trigger, how do we automate LinkedIn messages? You've got to buy some automation or you've got to pay me to do it for you. There are a few things to be very, very mindful of on automation. So we need a conversation because when my friend and colleague developed what we have about 6-7 years ago, it was unique. There's a lot, obviously, like anything, there's a lot more on the market. But my niche is I get people go, that's great, but I don't want to do it. Will you manage it for me? And what that means is we can hook up regularly, talking about all of these strategies, and I'll just take care of it. I think if you're interested in how you can automate this for consistency and scale, drop me a line, let's book a call and have a chat. And then Sten, how do you automate congrats on new job messages without a VA? Same. VAs will do a little bit. This is why I'm so passionate about what we have is unique, and I just want to share it. Because I talked to a guy in India years ago who'd got a massive team, office team of VAs doing what I was doing, connecting, messaging. And I said, here's what I can do. I can connect, I can send a welcome message, I can send a follow-up message, send another follow-up message. He said, I can't do that. It's a massive spreadsheet. He said, your system is awesome. I said, so what do you want? He said, I cannot buy it from you because I would have to make a lot of my office staff redundant. And I am loyal to my local community in the village in India. And I said, that's the best objection I've ever had. I'm with you. You just can't do it. And my question to you would be, why would you automate it yourself when I do it for you? Munib, which automation tool you prefer to use as? You won't find it on the internet. Let me get this, but LinkedIn doesn't like it, but LinkedIn doesn't like a lot of things. So we need a conversation around what are you looking to do? I don't care whether you take as, there are some others similar. I had a guy the other day, I said, yeah, yours is doing pretty much what we can do. It's not worth me even talking to you about differences in support or pricing or whatever, just carry on. The reality is most out there are at risk or don't work as effectively. And the other reality now is we'll do a better job together. You should be focusing on dealing with inbound, not managing that. So in answer to your question, Munib, I think if you want to message me offline on LinkedIn outside of this webinar, tell me what you're looking at and whether you want to chat through it. I'm happy to have a look at what you're looking at and see where you're at. When it comes to automation, this webinar wasn't about that, but you know what? It's about everything LinkedIn. So cool. Mary, hey, by the way, guys, people are still online. It's great to see so many. So chuck the questions at me. You're either asleep, you've either taken yourself off camera and gone and got a coffee, or you're interested in getting as much information as you can about LinkedIn. So if it's the latter, shoot me across some more questions, because as soon as the questions stop, then pull it to an end. Mary.
To 10:25 and sleep with garments. It's easier for you to.
Okay, if I go.
And while you're doing that, you can answer Alan's question. What's your superpower?
What's my superpower? What I think about that? 10:25. Who's it from? Chris Garland.
Not all through the lengthy process of low trust.
I can't see it, no, Colin. Okay, Chris, without going through the potentially lengthy process of no like trust, how do you approach the professionally helping people to buy side of hello, I do make sell, would you like to buy it, when you're essentially cold calling? I think I've covered that, Chris. What I've said is when I connect with someone, I send them a welcome message. These are my magic messages. If you have a look at my post, that's what I put the hand raising post up saying who'd like a copy. When you join Post Party Club, I'll give you all of those, because this is about connecting, engaging in the right way, isn't it? This is hopefully what I've covered today. So my welcome message is, hey, thanks for connecting. You'll see from my profile that I help people. Remember I said professionally helping. How many times have I used the word help today? How many times have I used the word help? When someone says, can you tell me about this? I say, look, probably best booking a call to talk through exactly what you're looking to achieve and how I might be able to help you best. So my welcome message is, thanks for connecting. You'll see that I help people achieve blah, blah. And I've just put together a short video on how you can save money, save time, achieve X. I hope it's of interest to you. I'd love to know your thoughts. Use those words. I'd love to know your thoughts. So my follow-up message a few days later is just wondering. I use wondering a lot. So you're not cold calling. By the way, Chris, you're not cold calling if you've connected with somebody on LinkedIn. You've had their permission, they've accepted. How's that a cold call? A cold call is picking up a phone to data you've never even engaged with someone. This is the power of LinkedIn. Get that out of your mind. It's not cold calling. I'm selling because I'm professionally helping people to buy. Here's some information. Give first. BNI talks givers gain. The law of reciprocity. Who was that? Malcolm Gladwell. If you give something first, people want to give back. That might be their time or their conversation. So is it a potentially lengthy process? Not if on LinkedIn. If I've connected with someone and said, hey, Chris, thanks for connecting. Good to be part of your network. Always happy to introduce my network to people where it might help them. By the way, I've just put together this short PDF on the 9 tips to create a powerful profile. I hope it's of interest to you. What are you going to do? Click on my profile and look at who I am. You've now got some know, like, and trust. So I hope that's answered your question. And if you really are struggling with your messaging sequences and how to engage to get inbound conversations, we need to talk through what you're looking to do and how I can help best. Mary.
Michael Tree.
Hey, Michael.
Nearly all my material like videos on YouTube or other platforms. You said LinkedIn don't like us using country platforms, so they also hate YouTube videos.
No, okay, Michael Trigg, thank you. I know I've talked fast for lots. What is it? I didn't say LinkedIn don't like YouTube or other platforms. I said they don't like you putting external links in the posts, that the algorithm will suppress that post because they don't want you to take people off the platform. Nothing wrong with using your YouTube videos. I've just done it. Nothing wrong with you sending a link to your YouTube video out in a direct message, is there? Nothing wrong with you putting those links into your profile. We talk about if you want to use them in your posts. What I said to you is you can write your post, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, I've got a video that gives you more. I've put the link in the first comment below. That takes it off the body of the post, bypasses the suppression. Now you've got to manage that. That's the detail of just managing posts, the technicality we give people. But where else can you be using your YouTube video? You know, definitely. I've got a client in South Africa. She's got a guy, massively networked, big marketing digital agency. They've done lots of videos. She's going, where do we use this? So you give it me. You tell me which messages you want sending it out at. They've got so much. They've got a series of emails on a certain topic, on another. So yeah, absolutely. If you've got the great thing, Michael, I sort of know what you do. You've got so much content. You just got to be getting it out to people now. So how best get it out through posts? Direct messages this is how you get people to know, like, trust you. This is how you get yourself to be found, give value to the reader, and prove your credibility with it. So hope that answers your questions. Yeah, it's just how you use it. Just be careful how you use it in posts. But remember, I said Peter Wendt, 80% of his posts are just text, and he gets inbound leads every week. So you need to join Post Party Club to understand how best to make it work. And the fact you've got content, which I presume is great, on YouTube and elsewhere, you've got so much opportunity to get that content out through LinkedIn, not just Post Party Club, but all the other things we've sort of ended up talking about, which is good. Mary.
Automating congratulations or messages without
Yeah, I mentioned that. I read it earlier about the automation. What's next? Okay. Why have LinkedIn changed connections to followers? I don't know. They've rolled it out. They've got a thing called, I think, creator mode. And I Googled it and I've got colleagues around me who are far more detailed into all of the detail of LinkedIn. All I can see that creator mode does is it shuffles around, it puts your content at the top of your profile before the about and experience sections. It's supposed to get you more views. I've not got hold of anyone who's really given me any firm data. And then it changes your connections to followers. Now, I don't want people to follow me. I want people to connect with me, because you can get up to 30,000 connections. Then beyond that, people are only allowed to follow you. So I'm not sure of the value in creator mode, but when you see it now, when you scroll down, I won't share my screen, but when you scroll down someone's profile, underneath their photo, it will say 500 plus connections. When you scroll down to the experience section, or just below, or somewhere there, it will tell you the number of followers. That is typically the same amount as connections, plus or minus a few. If it said you've got 2,000 followers, you might have 1,900 connections and 100 people have chosen to follow you. They've just chosen to follow you instead of connecting. Don't worry. Don't worry. Pretty much the number of followers is the number of connections. If you come across someone's profile where it says follow them and they haven't got 30,000 connections, if you click on the 3 dots to the side, it drops down and there's the facility to connect with them. It's a 2-step process instead of hitting connect. I want to connect with people. I don't want to follow people. That just means I see their stuff in their feed. If I connect with them, I can direct message them and engage with them directly. So LinkedIn constantly changes stuff. Those of you that are detailed and have a more critical thought process, it drives you mad. My view is they are what they are. Let's just understand it so we can work around it to serve us best. Bev Jones, I turned creator mode on so I can now create a newsletter every month as a writer. It's worked for me. Just wondered why. Thanks for the info. Yeah, that's a good point. That might be one of the other things that create. I haven't got to grips with newsletter and how that looks, where it goes, what happens to it. But I think my bottom line view with it all is it working for me? Am I getting the result I want? So my investor wanted people to go to his website. When I said that my aim is to get it offline as quickly as possible, it's to get it off LinkedIn. So he wanted people to go to the website to download investor packs. He could email and follow them up and track them. I want people to say, can we speak? Because I get a phone call. Or people to go to postpartyclub.co.uk and sign up. So if your newsletter's working for you, it might be to build your database. If your newsletter's working for you, then great. That is, I think it's a fairly new function in creator mode. So yeah, you're welcome. And this is the thing with LinkedIn. Someone said, well, you should know this. You're the guru. I sort of hate that word because I think it's misconstrued. I said, look, the great thing with Post Party Club is we've got the Facebook members and we've got our colleagues and we've got members around the world. We've got the fortnightly calls where people are going, this has just changed. I've just done this. What about this? So we're collectively sharing. I don't know all and everything, and LinkedIn changes so much. So Bev, I'd love to have you in Post Party Club because you're ahead of the curve on the creator mode and stuff. And I'd love to see how it's working and see what else we could do to make it work even more. So there you go. Any more questions? Do you know what, guys? I'm stunned in a way. I was looking forward to this. I said at the beginning, it's the first one we've done for a long while. My team and some of our members were saying, do it again. I've got so much great stuff coming in from LinkedIn from what I'm doing, like I said before. But to get so many people registered and turn up and to see so many people still here, well after the sort of time we advertised, it's testimony to your participation and what you want to know. I urge you to do 2 things. I urge you to go join Post Party Club because we can engage more. It will give you thousands of views of your posts straight away. And then we can give you so much content on how to write stuff that works, but also connect with me on LinkedIn. And those of you that have asked about automation and connecting and messaging people with new roles, you clearly looking at stuff consistently in the business, drop me a message. You will get automated messages from me when we connect. As soon as you message me inbound, I will respond personally. Connect with me anyway, because you immediately get 20,000 second-tier connections you can find in searches. If you don't connect with me and Mary, you need shooting. Those that are connected. Any way we can help. And remember, just for this 1 week, there's 3 grand of the coaching program into that 500 quid's worth of online course. It's yours forever. Do you know what? If you've got a couple of people in your business, you've got someone you want to help, give them your access to it. I don't care. I just want you to get the content from that, not just understand how to change your profile, but understand the answers to some of the questions you asked today and what you can do, because then you'll understand where and if what we've got and how it can work in. Can we access the recording of this webinar? I missed some part of it. Mary will make sure we send it. I forgot to I put record on pause when I let everybody in at 5 to the hour and forgot to record. So you'll miss the first 10 minutes or so, Manib, anyway, but whatever. You're welcome, Bev. There's so much to do. Great to see you. And I can see you live, so I can see you smiling. Whereas the other people I can't. Guys, if there's no more questions, I'm going to say, go join Post Party Club. When you sign up to the 97 a month, you will get the LinkedIn Mastery Online course that we're selling at 500 quid anyway. It should be a no-brainer. I ought to put my coaching hat on going, what's stopping you having jumped offline and gone and signed up already? And actually, a lot of the questions we've had has been around LinkedIn generally, not about Post Party Club and how it works. So normally I get asked questions. We've had a few about time slots and whatever. If there's no more questions, I'm going to say thanks for your participation. I trust it's a value because you're still here. And I just wish you all the best in you're welcome, Michael. I can see you too. No more. Okay, guys. Mary's put the link in there, but it's easy. It's postpartyclub.co.uk. Go have a look at all the information in there. I look forward to working with you in the Facebook group and as a member of Post Party Club. Thanks again for being online. It's great to see so many and the awesome questions. Anything else, Mary? And thanks from Mary as well. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.